So I just got a Sea Dweller 43, the 50th anniversary, the red line one, last week. Grey market, so a little bit of a premium on there, which I didn't mind. It's a hard one to find, and who knows when the AD would get me one, right? Right. I got the call this morning. They have my ST43 ready to pick up. Oh, Jesus. FML. So I'm on my way to pick it up. Of course I'm gonna pick it up. I gotta. So I'm gonna have two of the bloody things now. And there where most of you guys, take the stickers off, because the first one was full stickers. And of course they're gonna rip the stickers off this one that I pick up today. You know they will. That's Rolex policy. It's the last time I'm listening to you guys. Nah, I don't mind. It's okay. Well, I know some of you are going to think, well, that's awfully unfair. Now he gets two. Well, look, I paid grey market rate. A little bit less, but whatever. For the first one. So really, that one doesn't really count. Any one of you could do that. You'll find one. Go on Chrono, pay the premium you have in your hands. That's it. The problem is, if you want it from the AD, you want it cheaper. You want it at list. You want your cake and eat it. Or as they say here in Italy, it's even funnier, it's much better. Voi la botta piena, la maglia ubriaca. You want your cask full and your wife drunk. Can't have both. Pick one. It's really funny. I guess this whole loyalty, customer loyalty thing that they're doing, it's been in the news, you might say, in the watch world news a lot lately. I have my own thoughts about that are probably a tad contrary to the popular opinion. The popular opinion is that it's a load of bullshit, basically, and it's just a way to gouge people for extra money, making people buy watches and jewelry they don't want. Yes, we'll give you this stainless steel sports watch, but how about this pair of earrings first? How about a nice Breitling? If you buy all that stuff, we'll put you in line for the other stuff. Nasty business. But I ask you one question. How else are Rolex supposed to delegate the supply and demand? You know, customer loyalty is a really good way of doing it. They're not the first people to do it. Ever hear of the airline industry? What do you think that is? It's all about customer loyalty. Sorry, sir, you didn't get the upgrade to business or to first because we have this gentleman who's been working with the firm or has flown 10 million miles more than you have. It's customer loyalty. I have a cafe around the corner. I get coffee every single day. And I'm not a little dainty guy like these Italians. I drink my big coffees. Sometimes I get two, knock the first back and then take the second one slow. I get a sandwich. If I'm feeling a little naughty, I'll get some sort of breakfast brioche or something. I even buy the wine he has wine in there. He doesn't sell to anyone. I buy it. And he knows that even if it's a bad week, and there's been plenty of them lately because of COVID, he knows there's a certain amount of money coming in from the Irish chap who always wears the sunglasses. Because I'm right around the corner. I'm a loyal customer. When I go in there, even if there's a line, even if he does have a lot of customers, he sees me and he gives me a little wink like, I got your coffee. And as he's making other coffees, he makes mine. And he doesn't even address me. He's, taking care of other people. He just drops it on the counter for me. I leave. He puts it on my tab. How else do you propose Rolex, the most sought after watches in the world? You walk into a dealer and they offer you a stainless steel piece like they're going to give me today. There's 1,000 other guys right behind me who would take that. Don't say that none of you would grab that watch if you could. A list. So how are they supposed to deal with it? Look, if you don't have customer loyalty, you're outside of that thing, it probably feels unfair, right? In the same way as if you're taking one flight with American Airlines every 3 years and you're hoping to get an upgrade or something, you've dressed all nice, and then you don't get it because a D2 walks in, or a D3, or heaven forbid a D1. Forget it, you're never getting the first class seat if it's a D1. That's a pilot. That's a pilot from the airline going home. You're not getting the first class seat, or the biz seat. And that probably feels cold and harsh to you, but it's customer loyalty. That's what it's about. Better put on this mask before people start giving me the eye. It probably feels not cool when you're on the other side of it. But when you're on that side of it, when you are a loyal customer and you've put your hand in your pocket for maybe years, you better believe it feels fair. Oh yes, it does feel fair. What do you think? And for any of you thinking, well, why don't they just go back to the list, put your name on a list, go to old-fashioned waiting list like they always did? I don't think that list ever really was a thing. Not really. Not really. I mean, I think the list was kind of like a list of loyal customers, and then if just by some miracle none of them want it, then they move on to the regular civilians, if you will. I don't think that the list... I since I started the channel, I must have had 10,000 messages from people saying, I've been on a list, I'm in Ireland, I've been on the list for ages at Weir's Dublin, I've never got the call, I've been on the list for years, I'm in Houston, I'm in LA, I'm in Japan, I can't, they haven't called me, it's been 18 months. You know why? Because you walked out of there and they just threw your name in the in the trash can, probably. We can't really know for sure, but I always had the suspicion that the list was a little bit, we'll see. And even if they were going by the list, let's say they were on the up and up and they were doing the right thing with the list, and you were next on the list for whatever, black Suburban or whatever, and some big rich guy walks in, someone with customer loyalty, or somebody about to buy 6 Pateks, and says, do you have a Rolex? I just want one for my son. Some guy dropping $500,000. You're not getting the call. They're giving it to him. I'm not a big shot like that. I'm not. I have some customer loyalty, yes. I've asked them for a Pepsi ages ago. Never got any word back about that. Daytona, nothing. So it's not like I'm right up there either. Oh, and another thing, I just heard the other night a couple of fellow YouTubers talking about this, and one of them was like, oh, my friend bought a 41mm sub no date, and he felt almost like he owed them something for giving him the watch, for allowing him to give them thousands of dollars, and they were laughing how obscene that is. It's not obscene. I'll be bringing a gift to these guys today. I'll probably get them a bottle of whiskey. Why? Because there's 4,000 guys behind me who want the same watch, and they're giving it to me. And if I were inclined, I mean, I'm going to spend what, 150. If I were inclined, I could step right out, walk down the street to the grey market guys, and go, guys, give me 13 for this. It's like giving you free money. Would you not give a bottle of whiskey to a guy who handed you $2,000 for free? Of course you would.
Penso che è una maglia, ho provato l'altro giorno con Luca, penso che è una maglia.
Oh, una maglia forse.
Una maglia?
Sì.
Sì.
Una maglia.
Riesci a farlo?
Sì, facciamo subito.
Grazie, molto io già.
A questo punto sì, perché nulla in casa. Va bene, grazie.
Togliamo allora una, cosa facciamo?
Togliamo una maglia.
Bene. Ok.
Grazie.
Garanzia a posto.
A posto.
Adesso prendiamo la scatola. Adesso vediamo se una maglia va bene, la mettiamo qua.
Vedi, giusto.
Giusto? Sì, adesso poi
quando fa caldo.
Esatto.
Sì, sì.
Grazie.
Bene.
Metto qui la maglia.
Perfetto. E il hang tag, sì, tutto. Vado a bere qualcosa, dai, bisogna sempre fare così quando si prende un nuovo
birra.
orologio.
Ti piace la birra da buon
A me
irlandese?
piace il vino, sinceramente, il whisky.
Whisky, vai.
Una birra e dopo basta, io non... tanta birra non riesco.
La famosa Guinness, no?
Sì, una Guinness però, hai mai bevuto?
Sì.
Mi piace?
A me sì.
Un po' pesantino però,
Oh,
no?
sì, sì, non è proprio...
Ti sembra da mangiare invece di bere. Unbelievable. It's like deja vu. They were super nice. They gave me some gifts. I brought gifts too. Some champagne and cookies. Because that's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it.
Right, so before we do anything, let's do the honors first with the old vino. The whiskey and cigars can happen later. This is a, just in case you don't last till the end of the video. This is a Partagas Maduro #1. Very fond of these, beautiful. I just put 2 into the frame, but I'm only gonna smoke 1. This is a more generic thing. The last time I had a beautiful Redbreast 21 that was a gift from a viewer.
This is Johnny Walker Black, guys. You know, it doesn't get more basic in some ways. It's, you know, it's a blend, a very popular brand. As Christopher Hitchens used to call it, the breakfast of champions. This is the double black, which I'm actually really fond of. It's deeper, it's thicker, it's a little smokier, a little sweeter. And it's everything you love about the black, just a little bit more, you know. She's wearing fishnets, you know, and probably doesn't have any panties on. That kind of evening. Last time I went with a French, a Saint Emilion. This time I'm gonna go with an Etna Rosso. See that there? Etna, the volcano. A couple of reasons I'm doing this. One is because people were asking me what I've been drinking lately, and this is the kind of stuff I've been loving. Etna has a certain minerality to it, something that I love out of French wines, and something you don't get a lot in Italian wines, and I miss it. Minerality is a very controversial term in viticulture. A lot of people don't even think it exists, but I certainly do. The other reason I'm choosing this is because Etna just erupted. I don't know if you were watching on the news. It just erupted for the first time in a long time. Fairly spectacular if you've ever spent any time down in Sicily. It's quite bizarre to look at the beautiful surroundings and sit there and have, you know, cannoli, take the cannoli, and all of that, and then look up and see this crazy volcano right over your head, like staring down at you. So this is from Donna Fugata, Etna Rosso, DOC, which is Dominazione Originale Controllata, Dea Vulcano, which would be the god volcano. Look at her. Isn't that a beautiful label? Anyway, I'm more excited about the wines than I am about the watch. It's not, look, I'm excited about the watch, of course, but it's just that I just did this, you know? Now I've got two of these bloody things in the house. It's like, I better go to the bank tomorrow and drop one off. Of course, I'm mad at everyone for telling me to take the stickers off. The other one, because, oh, by the way, oops, she finally got, this is her debut. I'm actually going to do a video on it. This is my favorite watch right now. My favorite watch. I'm not going to get into it too deeply because we're talking about a totally different watch. I just bought this by complete accident the other day. I was back in Vicenza, a guy who sold me a lot of watches. I was like, what have you got? And he was showing me some cool stuff. I might get a Speedy Racing, one of the racing dial Speedies, and maybe a date just from him, but I said I need to think about it, and then we started looking at Seikos, and this thing popped up. Look at that puppy, look at the grenade dial. It's a waffle dial, but in this color it looks like a grenade. This is my favorite watch right now. I'll just leave that there, okay? It hasn't left my wrist. Except for today when I wore the Daytona over to the Rolex AD just to be fancy, you know. You see the brownness off that immediately? There's a brownness, a brickedness. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but wonderful, interesting stuff. Cheers, guys, once again. Oh my God, here we go. Oh, that's fucking fantastic. All right, let's look at the watch. Right now, there's a lot of people typing in, oh, skip to this part for the actual unboxing. Oh, God. Some of you guys, my God. Unbearable. So, I brought gifts. Of course I did. They just gave me a very hard to find watch at list. I brought them a bottle of champagne, not crazy money or anything. I also brought them some cookies, some special Venetian cookies from a place called Rosa Salva, which is a very historic, great pasticceria here. There's a little gift. Thank you so much. You guys have been great, and I really appreciate it. And they were very like, oh, wow, oh, thank you so much. And they said, oh, hang on a moment. And they ran upstairs and brought down some gifts. So first thing they brought was a travel pouch. I already have one of these, actually. But I love them. Gorgeous Rolex travel pouch. Let me show it in the light properly. Is it focusing? And it has this card that you put in, you know, you wrap the watch around it and slide it in. It's just a great travel pouch for like sliding an extra watch into the inside of your coat or something. Gorgeous stuff. Beautiful texture on that. And for the first time ever, I was shocked when they gave me this. Look at that. You know what it is, right? These are things we lust after. I tried to get Omega to give me one when I was in the boutique. I guess that's not going to happen now after that video I made about the Speedies. Forget it, dude. But yeah, whatever. Look at that. Rolex engraved there on the top. Beautiful. When you get the pen, like there's always swag. There's a cap. Caps are so whatever. I think umbrellas and pens are the top stuff, personally. You get a pen or an umbrella, a lovely Rolex umbrella. I love those things. Of course, full outer case, full everything. This is AD stuff. So all the bells and whistles, as they say, and all super crispy and new. Look at that. Time for another drink, I think. We've seen this many times, the usual box. And there she is, the Mark II Sea Dweller, reference 126600. Now, if you haven't seen my unboxing, what was it, just a week ago, of my Mark I, go back and look at that if you really want to see close-ups and things like that. Check that out. It's virtually the same watch with some tiny differences, and I have the other one here to put them side by side. Hang tag, of course, as always. They wouldn't leave me the price tag. I actually asked, but they said no, they need it. So there's that. Now, a few essential differences. This book is identical, of course. I didn't look at it the last time on the first one. I'm not going to look at it now. Waste of time. The guarantee manual, which should be stuffed in there, but I'm not gonna, you know, when you put it in there, it creates an indent, a line around here. So I'm gonna keep that crispy and fresh. Why not? Very obsessive, right? OCD. And the Rolex card, I'm not gonna turn it around because it has the serial, but there's no name on these new cards. If you look at my unboxing of the Submariner, you'll see the same thing. There's no name on them, it's just the date. Today's date on this one, and then this cool card here where they just tick off, you know, acciaio inossidabile, the stainless. Now they sized it for me there and then, so one link removed, just like the other one, obviously identical. Okay, so I'm going to put on another lens and get in a little closer with both watches, because of course this is the Mark II. This is today's watch, and I of course got the Mark I. So let's get them side by side for a second. Identical watches, guys, except for some tiny details on the dial. This one says Swiss made down underneath the 6, and between the Swiss and the made, they have a little coronet underneath on this one, just like all their new watches. Furthermore, where they mention the depth here of 1220 meters, the one on the 1220 has a serif. This one is a straight stick one. So there's the new Submariner, the 41, and it has a glossy reflective kind of dial, whereas the Sea Dweller, it's very difficult to pick up, but there's a kind of a matte quality. You might be able to see it there. There's a difference between the textures on the dials. One line of red, of course, everything being the same. The controversial Cyclops, I personally love Cyclops watches. I just do. I love the Cyclops on this Seiko. Oh, look at that, it's widescreen. They call it candy bar, but I like to call it a widescreen Cyclops. Look at that thing. Okay, stop obsessing over your Seiko-ish. I love Cyclopses. I love that they added it to this. It would have been on the previous ones had they had the technology to allow it. So there it is, crispy, new, beautiful edges that don't cut your fingers even when you rub hard. You know where it's a little bit cutting, and I've noticed this on brand new watches. It's the same on this Mark I, even though this is from the end of 2017, but it's because it's new old stock. It's never been touched, and it's had the bezel guard on. There's a thing, let me pull this glove off. There's a thing when you touch these little teeth here at the edge of the bezel. I'm not going to say they're going to cut you, but you can feel them tug your skin. That you won't get on an older watch, a watch that's been used a lot, it's been rubbing off the insides of people's jacket sleeves and so on, or, you know, used in the proper environment and manipulated a lot. You won't get that tug. There's a little bit of scrape, just a little bit of sharp metal scrape against your skin. That's how you know when a watch is brand new or new old stock like this one. This one has the same thing. Literally has never been touched. But it's on the right side of the watch, right? On the outside of the watch, that's okay. And it will go away because, of course, this is a part of the watch you're supposed to use and manipulate and so on. It's not okay when it's here. Okay, I'll let it go. Sorry, I'm talking about a totally different video about the Speedmaster. I'll make a whole thing about that in response to you guys freaking out soon. For now, this is it. It feels like silk when you put it on the wrist. It feels magnificent and absolutely beautiful. What can I say? I've got a Mark II and a Mark I. Clearly the Mark I has something a tad more special because it is the true 50th anniversary, isn't it? It's an interesting thing. And it was in production for a little less than a year before they went over to this and just made those tiny adjustments, those tiny changes on the dial. But it is cool to have the Mark I and Mark II right next to each other. They're the badass twins, aren't they? Pretty incredible. I'll give you a wrist shot with the Mark I, because obviously that's going to be identical, just to see it on my wrist if you haven't seen the other video. I have a very large wrist, guys. It's about 7.6, 7.7 inches. If it's a hot, humid day, it'll go up to 7.8, 7.9 easily. If it's cold, it'll go down to 7.5, probably, something like that. I really have a difference. You know, watches can flop around on a cold day and then get super tight that I actually have to loosen them on a hot day. So I don't know if your wrists are the same, but mine really expand and contract depending on the heat and my activity and so on. But that's what the Sea Dweller looks like on me. It looks basically the same as what a Submariner looks like on most guys' wrists, I think. I think if you're a bigger guy, you got to go for this. So that's it, guys. Kind of incredible. We all wish we had that crystal ball or that voice in our ear telling us, don't buy the watch, the AD is going to call in a couple of days. But whatever, I don't really have any regrets. I'll figure something out. One will go in the bank probably, and the other will stay on the wrist. You can see that bricked color now of the Etna Rosso, the Donna Fugata. So cheers to you guys. Thanks to you all for watching. Take it easy.